It is no doubt that it was a meticulously planned job involving assassins who knew where and how to get him. The spot was carefully selected, and what is puzzling is how even the investigators took time to understand why it had to happen here. 27 officers drawn from various stations and crime scene support service personnel revisited the scene to tie the loose ends. We are on the southern bypass where on that fateful night Jacob Juma's body was found in his vehicle 200 meters from Lenana School. The southern bypass is divided into three parts. The outer lane is from Karen going all the way to town where there's traffic building up. This middle lane goes to Karen, and this is the road you'd expect Jacob Juma would be using that night, but this is not where the car was found. The car was found on this other lane, and this lane goes to join Mombasa Road where those women are seated. That's where his car was found. During the day, this area is not entirely busy. A few people walking around and light traffic of motor vehicles. But why choose this spot to kill the businessman?
Professionally, we refer to this as a choke point, where the crime will take place, where the killing will take place. And you look at certain factors that will be suitable for you. One of these is less public activity, few witnesses, and also you'll find that convenience. This was a very convenient place for the assassination to be carried out, because the place is also not well lit, and the possibility of anybody identifying the killers is almost zero.
The killers took advantage of the lack of surveillance cameras here. According to detectives, prior to the tragic incident, CCTV footage captured Jacob Juma's car moving around Westlands. His first point was captured by these cameras at Westlands bus terminus. It was a Thursday evening, and traffic building around this area all the way to the CBD is a common occurrence. The police statement says Jacob Juma's vehicle was captured here at 7:34 p.m. and he was on the driver's seat, but he had company. A female passenger. It's 7:34 p.m. and we want to simulate how much time it took Jacob Juma to move from Westlands bus terminus along Wayakiwe to Kenyatta Avenue Uhuru Highway at the Ministry of Tourism. According to the police statement on the CCTV footage, it took him 5 minutes. We want to see whether we'll make it to that same point in those 5 minutes. In an effort to retrace the movement of Jacob Juma, investigators say they viewed shots taken through the automated number plate recognition cameras and video clips from the intelligent video surveillance cameras. Driving at a speed of between 60 to 80 kilometers per hour, we wanted to establish in real time and on the same day of the week he was murdered, how much time it took Jacob Juma to move from all the points mentioned by the police. 13 minutes after we left the Westlands bus terminus, we were stuck in traffic at the Museum Hill underpass. Coincidentally, it started raining. Same weather conditions when Jacob Juma was murdered. The police statement says the deceased vehicle was captured at Kenyatta Avenue, Uhuru Highway near Ministry of Tourism at 7:38 p.m. It took us 30 minutes from Westlands to the Ministry of Tourism. According to the police statement on the CCTV footage, it took Jacob Juma 5 minutes. Perhaps there was no traffic at all on that day. Only video evidence can prove this. Jacob Juma then dropped the female passenger at a restaurant in the CBD.
We managed to trace the lady who recorded a statement and indicated that the deceased dropped her around Trattoria around 8 that evening. She confirmed that she had met the deceased on the fateful day during lunchtime and agreed to meet him later in the evening. She also confirmed to have been dropped later by a taxi driver at Rose apartment along Brookside Drive.
According to the police, 7:53 p.m. Jacob Juma's vehicle was again captured at Uhuru Highway near Central Park towards Wayakiwe. We were 24 minutes behind the time he allegedly was here.
The investigators are in a tight spot. Basically, you'll find that even that time, by the time Juma was being killed, the information that is out here is that he was driving alone. And when you carry out this kind of assassination, it's not something you wake up in the morning and decide to do. So this man must have been under surveillance for quite some time, and the perpetrators of that crime actually had all the time they needed to plan the attack, and they made sure that there are no witnesses around. They made sure that also Juma was alone in that vehicle. Though we can't rule out more evidence coming out, because in all criminal activities, criminals always make mistakes. There are always gaps that are supposed to be found in the planning, and this is what can be exploited to discover exactly who carried out the.
We drove during the day to understand the CCTV coverage along the path Jacob Juma is alleged to have used. Police say his vehicle was captured by these cameras at 8:14 p.m. at Awinsko Deck Road near Yaya Center. There are 9 cameras here. From this point, Jacob Juma drove towards Ole Odume Road. There are 6 cameras here. Unfortunately, this would be his last point captured by the cameras. What happened to the rest of his movements?
Not all cameras are working in town. They might have some reasons for not working.
About 1,800 CCTV cameras have been mounted on key roads and streets in Nairobi, but Ngong Road is not covered. The 14.9 billion Kenya shillings National Surveillance Communication and Control System links all security agencies, and by now it should have been easy to share information, but it's proving to be difficult.
We were told that this is supposed to be real time, but you'll find that the police stations are not connected to this system, whereby if we have the guys that are monitoring the system, what they need to do if they see any activity that looks suspicious, they use mobile phones to call the police around that area. And it doesn't really make sense, because we were told that this was supposed to be real time, and it's not happening. And this is why you'll find that even most estates within the city are not covered by this system. For example, if you go to Eastlands, the system only captures up to Donholm. You go to Waiyaki Way, you'll find that the system only covers up to Udhiru. Mombasa Road, it covers up to City Cabanas.
Juma's vehicle is believed to have been ambushed at this middle lane as he drove towards Karen, where he lives. His killers had another idea and picked a spot where he wouldn't have escaped. It was a trap. His Mercedes-Benz was pushed towards the inner lane that goes towards Mombasa Road, and he veered off the road after being blocked by a vehicle driven by his assassins. The whole stretch on the southern bypass is covered by boulders on both sides of the road, and as Juma struggled to keep speed, he was pushed to his death trap. This ditch between the start of the boulder and the light pole, slightly scratching his car. The timing, according to security analysts, was precise, and it couldn't have been the work of amateurs.
I think this was very professional. I can compare that to how Honorable Mushai was killed, because these are people who followed him for quite some time, blocked his motorcade, shot him, and then they left no traces or any form of evidence that can be used to track them. The same thing we are witnessing, the same thing happened when Jacob Juma was killed. We are only told 2 days later or 3 days later that actually 2 cartridges were found at the scene. We've not seen the cartridges to confirm that actually these were the cartridges that were used during the killing of Jacob Juma.
A source close to the family of Jacob Juma says a man who worked at the deceased home and had gained their trust disappeared on the day of his burial after gaining access to the deceased bedroom and stealing an iPad and 2 of his phones. The source says the family believes he was working for the killers or the people behind the murder by passing critical information. The man can't be traced. We filmed activities at the area around the same time and same day of the week Jacob Juma was killed. We counted only 5 cars passing through this road and no single human being around. The perfect spot for a cover. Up until now, the police have not called, interviewed or taken any statements from the widow concerning the incident as they continue with investigations.
The questions are, who found Jacob's body, bullet-riddled body, at what time? At what time was Jacob's body taken to the city mortuary? Why was the family not notified by the police about Jacob's death? Jacob had all his personal identification documents on him. He and his residence were well known to the local Karen police. Why did the police not immediately secure the alleged scene where Jacob's body and car were found? How many hours after towing Jacob's car to Karen police station did they secure it for evidence? Which company and individuals? Here we want a registration number plate of the towing vehicle, towed the vehicle to the police station, and at what time.
The family believes Juma was killed somewhere else and the car with the body dumped at the southern bypass. From the pathologist report, 2 bullets hit the right side of his chest. These direct bullets could not have been shot from the side. His right hand was broken, a sign of struggle or being hit from the right side. There are a couple of theories. Either he wanted to fight back using his firearm, or they accosted him from the right and they hit him. 5 more bullets were targeted at his neck. Jacob Juma's vehicle was towed from the scene with Juma's body inside. According to a source at Karen Police on that fateful night, a glaring blunder, but the Director of Criminal Investigation statement said something different.
Personnel were immediately called to the scene. On arrival, they photographed the scene and removed the body to the city mortuary, awaiting post-mortem.
According to the DCI, investigations are still at the preliminary stage, but proving who killed Jacob Juma and why, beyond reasonable doubt, is the biggest puzzle. Dennis Okari, NTV.